The night air in Malibu carried that soft salt breeze that always seemed to whisper secrets. Taylor Swift leaned on the balcony rail of her ocean view home, guitar resting against her leg, notebook open, pen hovering, but no lyrics came. For the first time in years, silence scared her more than heartbreak. Her last tour had ended 2 weeks ago, and the world still hadn't stopped talking about it. Yet, despite the flashing cameras and screaming fans, Taylor had never felt more alone. She'd built her empire on stories of love, but lately, love felt like a language she'd forgotten how to speak. That's when she saw him, a man down on the beach, barefoot, dragging driftwood toward a small fire pit. He wasn't looking up at her house, not even glancing, just working quietly, the kind of calm confidence that didn't need an audience. There was something magnetic about that. She told herself not to care, just a local maybe, a surfer, someone who didn't even know who she was. But when he struck the match and the flame flickered to life, she caught the warm reflection in his eyes. For a second, she swore he looked right at her. The next evening, she came out again. And there he was. Same time, same fire. This time, he waved. Taylor froze, pen still in hand. He wasn't smiling like a fan, not trying to get closer, not shouting her name. Just a simple wave, like you'd give a neighbor. She hesitated, then waved back. That small gesture stayed in her mind all night. It was ridiculous, she thought. She'd written entire albums about love and heartbreak, but somehow one stranger's wave felt more real than all the headlines combined. The third night, she walked down to the beach. "Hey," he said, voice low, kind of rough, but steady. "You always watch from up there. I figured I should introduce myself. I'm Noah." She smiled softly. "Taylor." "I know," he said. Not with awe, not with excitement, just acknowledgement, like her name was part of the conversation, not the point of it. That moment, the way the firelight painted his face, the way the waves whispered behind them, felt like the first line of a song she didn't know she'd been trying to write for years. And for the first time in a long time, she didn't feel like Taylor Swift, the world's biggest pop star. She just felt like a woman meeting someone who might finally see her for who she was beneath the music. Noah wasn't like anyone Taylor had met before. He didn't ask for selfies, didn't bring up her songs, didn't even mention fame. He just talked about the ocean, about the quiet, about how people forget to breathe when they're always chasing something. They met almost every evening after that. Sometimes they'd walk barefoot along the shore, sometimes just sit by the fire in silence. Taylor found herself laughing again, not the polite kind she gave in interviews, but the kind that came from deep inside, the kind that hurt your ribs and healed your heart. One night, as they watched the tide roll in, she asked, "Do you ever get tired of being alone?" He thought for a moment. "I think people mistake peace for loneliness," he said. "Being alone doesn't scare me. But losing peace, that's what I try to avoid." That line stuck with her. She wrote it down in her notebook that same night, then stared at the words for an hour. Losing peace. She realized she'd been living in chaos for years. Noise, cameras, headlines, heartbreaks. But peace? She couldn't remember the last time she'd had any. A week later, Noah showed up with a broken surfboard. "You ever try it?" he asked. Taylor laughed. "Do I look like I surf?" He grinned. "You look like someone who could." So she tried, and failed, miserably. The first wave knocked her over, the second flipped her, and the third dragged her halfway to shore. She came up laughing so hard she could barely breathe. Noah was waiting, hand outstretched, helping her up. "You're terrible," he said, still smiling. "Good," she said. "Means I have something new to write about." Later, as the sun melted into the horizon, she found herself watching him, the way he moved, the calm energy around him, how present he always seemed. The world had trained her to be everywhere at once, but Noah was just here. And that scared her, because for the first time in years, Taylor wasn't sure if she was falling for a person or for the version of herself she became when she was with him. Then came the first storm. It started with a phone call, her manager, her team, her publicist. Photos of her and Noah on the beach had leaked online. Within hours, tabloids screamed headlines like "Taylor's new mystery man" and "Swift's secret Malibu romance." When she found Noah that night, he was sitting by the fire again, scrolling through his phone. "You didn't tell me," he said quietly, "that it would be like this." "I didn't plan it," she whispered. "I swear I didn't." "I believe you," he said. But there was something in his eyes, something distant now, And that's when Taylor realized, peace never lasts long when the world wants your chaos. The next few days felt different. Noah still came to the beach, but his eyes carried that guarded look, the one Taylor knew too well. The look of someone realizing what it meant to love her, not just the girl next door, but Taylor Swift, the name that came with cameras, chaos, and endless noise. She tried to keep it simple. Dinners at home, walks at night, moments without phones. But even silence had started to feel fragile. Everywhere they went, lenses followed, from drones above the cliffs to flashes hiding in the shadows. One evening, as she lit the fire before he arrived, she caught herself trembling. She hadn't felt fear like that in years. Not fear of losing fame or control, but fear of losing him. When Noah arrived, his hands were buried in his pockets, hair tousled by the wind. He didn't sit. "I saw a post today," he said. "They found my mom's house. There are people outside, taking pictures." Taylor's chest tightened. "Noah, I can fix this. I can." He shook his head. "You can't fix what fame breaks, Taylor. It doesn't care who it hurts." The words hit her harder than any lyric ever had. She wanted to argue, to promise she could make it right, but deep down she knew he was right. For days, they didn't talk. The beach fire went cold. Taylor tried to lose herself in writing, but every song started with his name and ended with silence. Her notebook filled with unfinished lines. "He found me when I stopped looking. Peace doesn't survive the spotlight. Some hearts don't belong on camera." Then, one night, she drove to his place. No security, no disguise. Just her. He opened the door, surprised. "Taylor, I can't keep pretending I know how to balance both," she said. "The fame, the songs, the world, it's all noise. But you made me remember what quiet feels like. And I can't lose that again." Noah looked at her for a long time, the kind of silence that felt like a conversation. Finally, he said, "Then stop writing about love and start living it." It was reckless, impossible, but for the first time, she didn't care. She stepped forward and kissed him, slow, trembling, desperate. The world could wait. They stayed like that under the soft hum of the ocean, knowing that the morning would bring headlines again. But tonight was theirs. Yet deep inside, Taylor knew peace never stays. And when it leaves, it takes a part of you with it. Morning came with a storm. Not from the sky, from the world. Every major outlet had the same headline. Taylor Swift's secret love story exposed. Who is Noah Reid? Photos, drone shots, even clips from the night she went to his house. Reporters outside his gate. His mother crying on the phone. Her team begging for statements. Damage control, press strategy. Taylor sat in her kitchen, staring at her phone as it buzzed nonstop. But she couldn't hear a thing. All she could think about was Noah. When she got to his place, cameras were everywhere. He opened the door, exhausted, eyes dark with sleeplessness. "I told you this would happen," he said quietly. She swallowed hard. "Then let me fix it." "Taylor, you can't fix fame," he said again, voice breaking now. "You can't turn it off. You can't make it quiet. And I can't live in your noise." Those words hit her like thunder. She wanted to fight, to scream that love should be enough. But deep down she knew, love can't breathe in a cage made of flashbulbs and microphones. "I don't want to lose you," she whispered. He stepped closer, brushing a tear from her cheek. "You won't. You'll just have to write about me instead." She wanted to hate him for saying that, but his voice was so gentle, so final, she couldn't. The truth was, he wasn't walking away out of anger. He was walking away because he loved her enough to set her free. The next night, Taylor canceled every meeting, turned off her phone, and went back to the beach. The waves crashed against the shore, the fire pit still standing. She sat there alone, guitar in hand, notebook open. She started writing. He built a fire, and I built a song. He wanted peace. I kept moving on. The world was loud. He taught me still. Love's not fame. It's the quiet thrill. Tears blurred the ink, but she didn't stop. Every lyric, every chord, it was him. Months passed. The song, Firelight, became one of the most emotional tracks she'd ever released. Fans called it her most honest work since Folklore. But only Taylor knew the truth, that every note carried the sound of waves, every word the ghost of Noah's voice. Then one night, after her concert in Santa Monica, she walked out to the ocean again. The same beach, the same fire pit. Someone had already lit a flame there. And when she got closer, he was waiting. Older, quieter, but the same calm in his eyes. "Noah," she whispered. He smiled softly. "You never stopped writing." "I never stopped loving," she replied. They didn't speak after that. They didn't need to. The fire cracked softly between them, just like before. Two souls who had lost each other to the world, but somehow found their way back through the silence. And as the waves rolled in under the moonlight, Taylor finally realized something she'd never been able to write down before. Love isn't about being seen. It's about being found.